Welcome back to Uprising. I'm Sonali Kohatkar. A week after he was arrested under suspicious circumstances by Baltimore police officers, 25-year-old Freddie Gray died in the hospital. He had been in coma after 80% of his neck vertebrae were severed. Despite extensive surgeries to revive him, he died. Before his April 12th encounter with police, the young African-American man had been in perfect health. Cell phone footage of the arrest shows officers bending over him while Gray screamed. He continued screaming while being escorted into a police vehicle while handcuffed, suggesting he was in deep pain. Here is an excerpt of an early news report showing the video footage.
Witnesses capture the final moments of an arrest that send this man to shock trauma.
Deputy Commissioner Jerry Rodriguez said of the footage, at no time, and I've seen the video a number of times, did I see a use of force at that moment. But instead of providing Gray with medical treatment that he clearly needed, police put him in an additional restraint and took him to the station. Half an hour later, he was taken to the hospital. Now, Gray's family and anti-police brutality activists want answers. They want to know why there is a gap in the police timeline where it is not clear what exactly happened to Gray. They also want to know why Gray was arrested in the first place. Mayor Stephanie Rawlings-Blake and Police Commissioner Anthony Batts have announced an internal investigation into the matter. 6 officers have been suspended with pay in connection to the case. We turn now to Farajii Muhammad. He's the Youth Empowerment Program Director for Baltimore with the American Friends Service Committee. He also hosts a radio program called Listen Up that airs on Public Radio 88.9 WEAA in Baltimore. Hi, Farajii.
Hi, how are you?
Doing well, thanks for joining us. Well, another young black man is dead after being arrested by the police. What can you tell us about Freddie Gray? Who was he? And do you know why he was even stopped by the police? They say he was illegally carrying a knife, but then they only charged him with that after they stopped him and found it in his pocket.
Absolutely. What happened was that Freddie Gray, he was a young brother that lived in the Sandtown, Winchester area of town, the Gilmore Homes community, which is in West Baltimore. And one of the things about him, according to some of the reports, that he had made some eye contact with police earlier that morning. About 8:40 in the morning, he made eye contact. They found in his records that he did distribute some type of weed or marijuana back in the past. But of course, that was something that's not relevant to now at this point. But there was some eye contact. That area of town, Sandtown, Winchester, Gilmore Homes area, is a very high drug, high crime area. So essentially, when he made that eye contact with police and when he saw the police presence kind of really taking a look at him, he fled. And essentially that led to them pursuing him and then detaining him. There were a couple of things about this that we need to keep in mind, that when you are in a high crime area, and I've learned that the Supreme Court, the highest court of the land, the Supreme Court allows a police officer to pursue and detain a person of interest in a high crime area, especially if the police feels that there's probable cause. And so that's what essentially happened. He looks at the police look at him, he feels a certain way, he's running. And so the police automatically assumed that there was something going on with him. The knife thing really, like you said, didn't come up until after they searched his persons, which really showed that that was not, and the mayor said it herself, carrying a knife is not necessarily illegal. So that wasn't even something that should be a part of the conversation. So the fact is that he ran, he lived in a high crime area, and the police felt that it was probable cause. So that's looking at one part of this case. The second part of this case is something that I have yet to really hear a lot more about, which was the use of force that the police had made on Brother Freddie. Because the police, as part of their procedure in taking down a person of interest or a suspect, they are allowed to literally put their knee in the back of an individual to keep that person detained. And that's exactly what you saw in the video, and that's what happened. But that, again, causes a big issue for a person that has asthma or any other type of medical condition that if you put your knee in somebody's back or on their spine, that's naturally going to cause. And if you just have not just one officer, but you have 2 officers using that type of procedure for a takedown, then that certainly is going to cause a major problem.
Now,